What's up everyone, and welcome to Jayconomics. My name is Jay and it's a pleasure to meet all of you. On this channel, we take a look at anything related to finance with a strong focus on investing. So if that sounds like something you want to be a part of, then please consider subscribing and liking this video to help me on my quest to befriend the big, bad YouTube algorithm. What's up everyone, and welcome back to Jayconomics. I released a video a month ago about a company called FansUnite, ticker symbol FANS on the CSE and ticker symbol FUNFF on the OTC. In that video, I discussed how undervalued they were at just 30 cents Canadian and how promising the company was. Well, since then, the stock has reached the $1 mark, more than tripling its value, and has since consolidated in the 65 to 75 cents range. Yesterday, with the announcement of their expansion into the US, the future looks even brighter for fans. In this episode, I sat down with FansUnite President Darius Eghdami and discussed the company in detail. I hope you all enjoy the interview. So make that thumbs up turn blue and subscribe if you're new. It really does help the channel grow. And now without further ado, let's get into the interview. Hello everyone and welcome back to Jayconomics. Today we have a special guest on the show. His name is Darius Eghdami. He's the president of FansUnite, a company that we've covered here on the channel very recently. Now Darius, welcome to the channel. Welcome to the show. Thank you for taking the time.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So Darius, first things first, let's get to know a little bit about you and a little bit about how you got here. So tell us about your journey individually and tell us about how Fans got started.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So story is very long-winded, so I'll try to keep it to the high level, but I'm an accountant by trade. So I started out, my career at KPMG, working in the audit practice. While I was there, I actually started the first iteration of FansUnite, which was a social sports betting platform. So when I got my accounting designation, I left to go work full-time on FansUnite. It was awesome. Took us around the world. We ended up going through an accelerator program in Boulder, Colorado, which was amazing, getting to work with some of the top mentors and entrepreneurs in the state. And we were fortunate enough in 2016 to be able to sell the company. So we sold the company, kind of became part of a larger company that was helping us out really from top to bottom of our company. And in 2018, we decided there's an opportunity to get into real money sports betting, and we spun it out of that vehicle. My team came back on, everyone came back on. We raised some money. I think we raised about $4.5 million on really an idea, a concept. And we went out there, we built out our team and just started developing technology. And the technology was we were getting into real money sports betting, and we wanted to be the platform behind the scenes. So we started building it out over the course of a year and a half, and then towards the end of 2019, we decided we wanted to go public. And we thought the timing was right. We knew the gaming industry was starting to get some traction. We also knew we needed a little bit more meat on the bones. We went out and looked for an acquisition, and we got introduced to a group called McBookie through our lawyer. I met the guys in London, had a great chat with them, awesome guys. They know the space super well, and we thought, here's a gem. This is a company that's been around for 10 years. It has a great brand, and remarkably have gotten to where they have completely organically, which is really cool. So we thought there was a lot of upside. We made the offer, said, do you want to be part of our go public, transaction? Let's team up on this. So they joined us. We went and did a small financing, got public in May this year, which was great. A little bit nerve wracking because as we were going public, the pandemic hit and sports came to a screeching halt. So we were a little bit nervous, but we had more than just sports with McBookie. We had the casino, we had virtual sports. So we managed to do pretty well, during the pandemic. And then, fast forward a little bit to give you some background. I've known Scott Burton, the CEO of Ascot at the time, for over 7 years. We started out in the sports betting industry together, and they're absolute pioneers in the esports space. We were a traditional sports betting company. We wanted to get into esports. Scott and team were actually going public themselves at the same time, and they were going to go raise money and get public in the same year. And we chatted and said, listen, you guys have esports, you want to get into sports betting. We have sports betting, we want to get into esports. We've known each other for so long. Why don't we do a transformational type deal here and merge our groups and create, hopefully, one of Canada's largest gaming companies, and hopefully one of the world's largest gaming companies. So we signed a deal with those guys. We did the financing as part of it. We raised $5 million, closed that in July. Merger happened in August. Merged the team. We brought in some new board members. We started merging the technology. It's been very seamless, which is not always the case with M&A transactions, but it's been amazing. And we've just been heads down, focused on growing the business. And the last 3 months has been super busy. So that's how we got here now. And obviously excited about the future ahead.
That's amazing. I mean, it sounds very synergistic, and it sounds like you guys kind of have both your visions lined up. And so it was a perfect, it was almost like two pieces of puzzle coming together, right? So that's great. That's awesome. Yeah. So speaking about sports, are you really into sports? Is that why you kind of went this route, or do you have like a favorite sport or favorite athlete, for example?
Yeah, I'm kind of a bit of a sports nut. My dad always joked with me that if you knew this much about other things, you could dominate the world. Because I just knew so much about sports growing up. I was just always looking at stats, watching games. But yeah, huge 49ers fan of football. I hope no one kind of holds that against me.
There you go. I'm a Packers fan, so we got a little bit of that. Right? Yeah. There we go.
I do like Aaron Rodgers, so that's okay. I got my little bobbleheads in the back, but also a huge basketball fan. I grew up playing basketball my whole life. Big Lakers fan, big Kobe Bryant fan, now big LeBron fan, of course. So yeah, sports is kind of everything. That's kind of why I got into this industry. And it's tough. My wife and kid didn't know football Sundays, but I'm doing my best to maybe only watch one game these days and spend time with the family as well.
Yeah, that's easier said than done sometimes, right? It's easy to kind of have one eye on the TV and one eye with the fam.
Exactly.
Do you have you said you mentioned Kobe. Do you have a favorite Kobe moment, one that really stands out?
Yeah, I mean, definitely that last game was probably one of the coolest things to watch. I remember it very vividly. I was actually with the FansUnite team. We were at a bar in Boulder, Colorado. That was during the time we were at the accelerator. And, that fourth quarter was probably the coolest kind of Kobe moment I saw. This guy is retiring and he's dropping 60 points. And then after the game, he gets up on the mic and he's like, my entire career, people told me, Kobe, pass the ball. And then he said, this game, everyone's saying, don't pass the ball, take shots, just to get him to get over 50 points. So that was a really cool moment, and obviously, very tragic news this year, which shook up the entire sports world. But huge Kobe fan for everything he's done.
Yeah, the legend lives on. And one more question about your about you said 49ers. So Steve Young or Joe Montana or
Steve
Jimmy
Young.
G?
Steve Young for sure. He's kind of my idol growing up. Every year I try to go get a new Steve Young jersey. So Montana's a little bit I was just getting into football, but I remember football since I was about 5 years old. My dad grew up in San Francisco, so that's why I became a 49ers fan. Sundays he'd plop me on the couch with my sister, and we would just watch football. And it's been I've been following that team for 28 years now, and I don't miss a game. I love those guys to death. So hopefully they can win one for me. It's been a bit of a tough ride.
I mean, it's been a tough ride with injuries too, right? Yeah. I was in my girlfriend lives in San Jose, so where they play. And so I went to see a game last year, the Steelers game. So that was a really cool experience to be before this whole illness stuff. So hopefully we'll be out watching NFL games sooner rather than later.
Absolutely. That was a good game. We won at the buzzer there, so that was fun.
Yeah, it was. All right, so let's move on. Let's talk a little bit about what happened today. So some breaking news with the stock being halted last night. The news is out now. Great news for shareholders. Great news for you guys. You guys are the first mover into the U.S. market, into the U.S. sports betting market. And now you have a partnership with GameCo. So can you comment a little bit about that, just in terms of the actual deal, how it came about, and what it's going to mean for you moving forward?
Yeah, huge milestone. The deal came about, so we signed a partnership with GameCo. I think we announced that back in September, and that came through a relationship that Scott had with GameCo. We've known each other for some time. And it was about getting our technology into the US, partnered with GameCo, who was going to bring the relationships because they have such a great kind of name and brand and network in the US market, and get esports into the US market. So once we signed that deal, the next step for us was actually signing a deal with the casino. That came with really GameCo doing the legwork there to get a deal done with the Skyute casino there in Colorado. So for the technology platform behind it, there's other partners with Grid Esports and 10 Star on the data and risk management side. So it's a collective effort here to create, a world-class esports platform. And this is our first deal regulated in the state of Colorado to take, Colorado residents. And what we hope is that, this opens up the door to other states. GameCo has those relationships and they have the licensing. So we'd like this to be the first of many, but this will be the very first dedicated esports sportsbook in the US market. So we're pretty excited about it. It's not launched yet right now, but it'll get launched in 2021. So it'll be really interesting to see that launch and go live for the first time.
Yeah, that was obviously my next question. When are we going to go live? So that's great to hear. Do you have like a time, like you said, 2021, but like mid 2021? Do you have kind of an estimate or?
Yeah, probably early to mid. Still some kind of paperwork to go through, some regulations, just because it is a regulated sports book. We are going through all that. Right. But yeah, we're hoping kind of earlier rather than later, and then look to sign our next deal.
Nice, that's awesome. That's great to hear. And so we got this one. Do you have any other exciting kind of like expansion plans in the US specifically that is on the horizon, or something that's kind of in the works?
Yeah, so US, and just to give you a brief background, when Scott and I merged, we decided, or when we were really talking in the summer, that US is not going to be on our immediate plans for a company our size. We knew the US market's going to be a giant, but it's still fragmented. It's still state by state. It's expensive to go. It's time consuming. And again, it didn't really make sense for a company of our size to do that. So we kind of put the US on the back burner. And then when this opportunity came up with GameCo, it accelerated everything for us. For us to get into the US market, it probably saved us, again, millions of dollars in a couple of years. So that was exciting to get in the US market. No real other expansion plans other than getting more casinos on board to use our software. And we're very kind of big on the B2B side. We want to be a technology provider. So it's just about growing those for sure. Awesome.
Speaking, let's kind of move forward, talk a little bit about the Asian esports scene. Has Fans ever considered, or is it in the long-term kind of vision to be expanding into Asia? Not in the next little while, but maybe in the future?
Future for sure. Yeah, Asia is another beast to tackle, but like you mentioned, probably one of the largest kind of hotspots, right? So the Malta deal we did recently, that's going to really focus us on Europe. We have a good focus on Latin America. Now we have a focus on the US and hopefully Canada, as well as the regulations open up here. Asia is definitely big. You need to know what you're doing going into the Asian market. And I think we're well situated with the team that we brought on board, especially some of our board members who have significant experience in the Asian market. So I wouldn't say in any of the immediate future are we going into the Asian market, but I would say it's definitely on the roadmap for our team.
Awesome. That's good. I mean, look, I don't think any shareholder expects that to be a near-term thing, but it's just, it's cool to know that it's in the, at least it's in the vision, right? It's potentially there. So that's awesome. That's great. And would there be any limitations to doing so, or is it more like just kind of getting comfortable in that market? Yeah,
limitations really are really more on just the regulatory front. So as a public company, we operate in regulation, right? And we welcome regulation. We think that's the best way that the industry can grow and grow well. So that's really the only limitation for us. We want to operate properly. We want to operate in regulated markets. So that's the only thing we'd have to navigate, but we have the right team to be able to help us navigate through those regulations.
Awesome. Great. So let's talk a little bit about one of the things that I really liked when I kind of did my research into you guys, which is smart contracts. And so can you expand a little bit for the people at home who maybe aren't really familiar with how they work or the technology behind it? Can you expand a little bit on smart contracts, what they are, the advantages, and what kind of impact that's going to have on FansUnite moving forward?
Yeah,
in the future?
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, for sure. So that's the technology we started building out in 2018 when we went out to raise money. We wanted to differentiate our sports book and not just be, a regular just fiat. So it was
Mhm.
kind of a bit of a Trojan horse for us that we can develop new technology, allow people to bet using a digital currency and have those bets in an online escrow contract where you put your money into an escrow contract. The house essentially matches that, and when the game's over and the score comes in, that escrow contract automatically resolves and pays out the winning party. Right, it gives you kind of full confidence when you make a bet that it's going to be settled exactly how it should. Maybe sometimes that helps in various regions around the world. You don't expect that when you look at the big sports books that your bet's not going to get settled, but in other areas in the world, that is an issue and a concern. For the smart contract betting is kind of new technology. I would say it's not really mass adopted, so it's something we have built. It's ready to go. We started testing it out, but right now the focus definitely is on fiat. It's on just traditional sports betting, casino, and esports. And once there is a little bit more mass adoption on that side, then we're going to get really focused on that again. It's interesting, with the crypto run up in 2018, there was a lot of hype around the smart contract. And now you're looking at crypto and it's the highest it's ever been. And there is no hype around it right now. So we still don't know. We just don't think the mass adoption is there yet. And we don't want to focus too much efforts on that, but it's ready to go. It'll be launching in at some point. Right now, again, focus on traditional sports betting.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, when the time is right, you'll take advantage and you have it ready, right? So that's great. That's awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
So thank you for for kind of explaining that. I'm sure that helped a lot of people at home. So you guys have mentioned that all the arms of the company, so Chameleon, Ascot, McBookie, they're making revenue right now. Would you be able to comment on the percentage split of the revenue between between all arms, and which one of those do you expect to kind of be able to grow and scale quickly and efficiently?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Because right now the majority of our revenue is coming through B2C platforms, so mostly coming through the McBookie, and also I would say the fastest growing revenue for us will continue to be B2C. There's the lowest hanging fruit for us on B2C, fastest growing revenue. Ascot Games is probably our most exciting division, just because there's so much opportunity there. The games we've built are getting a lot of great feedback, and we have a pipeline of concepts that our game studio in Malta are building out. So we hope to have about 10 games in 2021. We've signed one deal to get those into over 100 sportsbooks. We want to get those into over 1,000 sportsbooks and start really getting some great revenue on those. So we're excited about the games division. But what I would say is the B2B is probably the biggest blue sky for us. It just takes some time. So every client we get on board licensing our technology. For those that don't know, what we do is we sign them on an upfront integration fee. That really just covers our costs, gets them in, branded with their sportsbook, etc. And then we do a monthly license fee. So it's a fixed fee every single month, typically for a 3-year contract. These deals are sticky. Once you get on a platform, we hope we can keep you on forever. And then what happens is we grow when they grow. So we do a rev share on top of that fixed fee once they hit certain levels. So initially when we sign up a client, we're just getting that fixed fee, but as they grow over the course of 6, 12, 18 months and they start hitting that rev share, we grow with them. So that's where the blue sky is for us. As we get, we have multiple clients right now. As we get 5, as we get 10, that revenue really starts to compound. And as other ones grow, we get kind of new ones, early ones, they start to grow. So the B2B is really the blue sky for us. It's going to be the slowest growing revenue, but it has the potential to be the biggest.
Gotcha. Cool. Nice. So, I mean, you did mention at the beginning that, you potentially want to become one of the biggest iGaming companies in the world, right? Yeah. I'm sure viewers, investors, myself, like I'm sure we all want to know the same thing, which is like, do you ever plan on being acquired? Like, is that the goal, or do you really just like want to build like this crazy ecosystem that, like you said, blue skies, the sky's the limit, and we kind of just, you're the leader and we follow you up there?
Yeah. I would say more the latter. I think we're a technology platform, and we've seen companies want to acquire technology, right? Yeah. With the DraftKings realizing that's probably their biggest cost, they went out and bought SB Tech for, I think, $700 million US Bally's just acquired Betworks. They wanted the technology in-house. So, do we entertain those offers right now? No, because we think we have a lot more room to grow. But are there people circling? Always. We're always going to entertain because we have a duty to our shareholders to, entertain those and see what's best for not just our company, but for our shareholders. So I wouldn't say we're interested in exiting right now. We think we have so much room to grow, and we want to be a global platform leader. And Scott and I have maintained we want to give our clients 0 exit points. So we have the esports, again, that's another Trojan horse. We get in with esports, but we don't want to just service you with esports. We don't want you to have to plug into other service providers to bring on, your sports betting or your casino or your virtual sports. We want to do everything for you. We want to be able to service you from top down and give you 0 exit points. So that's why we're excited, because we can service clients with more than just traditional sports, with more than just esports. We have over 6,000 casino games that we've plugged into. Now we're building our own casino games. We want to continue adding stuff like virtual sports, live casino, all that type of stuff to be that full iGaming platform provider. And then kind of not the global domination, that kind of wording, but we want to go global, right? So, so we have a lot of room to grow. But yeah, I think a lot of people are excited about technology, and they're realizing technology is king, because you can be flexible, you can be scalable, and that's what Scott and I have always maintained since we started our companies together separately, years ago. That's
it, 100%. Awesome. That's good to know. All right, so let's have a little bit of fun with this question. So the market calls you, the next super stock. So, news has been flowing in constantly, good news. Your stock has basically tripled in like a month or a month and a half around. How does Fans attract new investors? How do you plan to continue doing so? And how do you plan to how does Fans plan to keep your current investors happy and excited for what's to come?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Our stock consolidated, very nicely for unfortunately not all the prices we wanted to, but, it consolidated for quite some time. And then as people started to see that, there's a lot behind the curtains here. They're hitting targets, they're exceeding targets. There's more milestones, there's partnerships with global brands. We started seeing our stock, go upwards. And obviously the industry is very hot. A lot of people think, we're in the third inning here of sports betting. We still think we're in spring training. Like, there's so much room to grow here, which is why it's exciting. Like, it's not really answering your question, but I'm just gonna give a little bit of background.
Go. This is an open conversation. Tell us everything you want. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I know how we get the word out is honestly stuff like this. Like, we want people to kind of hear our story. So we're trying to continue doing that. We uplisted to the OTCQB because we wanted to get our story out to more investors, to more institutional investors. And we're going to continue doing that. So, we're going to continue doing interviews. I think if anyone on this call, or watches this video knows that, if you email me or you email Scott or anyone on our team, we're going to respond. We've made that a mandate. We want to talk to all our shareholders, not just ones who own stock, ones who potentially, will come in and buy stock and support us. So we're pretty open. We want to talk to our shareholders. We want to talk to prospective shareholders. We answer questions as best we can. We try to really just put out material news, keep the market updated with what we're trying to do and what we're trying to accomplish, and what FansUnite really is and where we're going. So I think that's what we're going to continue doing. We're an open book here. We're in a great space, and we've spent the last 7 years building. So now it's about growth, right? So it's a lot of exciting times.
That was definitely not pun intended, but it was great. You guys are an open book. It's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. All right, Darius, any plans to uplist? I mean, obviously not now, but any plans to uplist, let's say in 2021, perhaps, or?
Yeah, it's something, our management team definitely discusses. We look at all of that, uplisting here in Canada, uplisting in the US market. So we definitely are exploring those. I wouldn't say anything immediate, but we are exploring both Canada and US uplisting. And again, I think we have a duty to our shareholders to continue exploring those opportunities, because going on the NASDAQ or the NYSE comes with a lot of benefits, a lot of hurdles to get there. But a company of our size, we think now we're at that potential that might make sense for us in the future. So definitely exploring those.
Cool, good to know. All right, yeah. I mean, that's pretty much on my questions. If you want to add anything, or if we haven't covered something that you want to mention, go ahead. Anything?
No, I think we covered quite a bit. We mentioned kind of all aspects of our business. Our team, where we're going from here. For us, it's just growth. It's getting more partnerships. It's getting more clients that are B2B. It's getting we're excited about, one thing is we didn't really touch on, but we're excited about Euro Cup. So McBookie is very branded. It's very Scottish branded, right? Just the name and the kind of clients we get. And it was funny because they had one last game against, I think it was Serbia. And if they won that game, they were going into the Euro Cup. And they haven't made a major championship for, I don't think, in this century, really. So we were watching that game. It actually went into penalty shootouts. We had a lot of people bet on Scotland. So if they won, we knew it was kind of going to be a short-term loss for us. But we knew if they won, they get into the Euro Cup, which can be amazing for us to have Scotland in there. So everyone in the office had it on. We were all watching. They won in a penalty shootout. So Scotland's in the Euro Cup for 2021. That's going to be a big one for us. We're going to definitely do a lot around that. Brand activations and marketing, getting new players betting on our platforms, just really focus around the Euro Cup and Scotland being there, and they're in a good group as well. So we're excited about that. And then just more games coming out. We find interesting enough, we've had some shareholders reach out to us and give us game concepts, which was really cool. So it's really fun to read those. We share them with our team in Malta, and they like them as well. So hopefully, if anyone has other ideas, send them over, and maybe one day we can get your game into actual reality.
That's cool. Like, do you guys have like a contest or something? Like, I think that could maybe be like a cool thing to do. Just an idea I'm just thinking of right now. Like, I think that could be like a really cool concept, a really cool contest, and for people to get involved. And I think it'd be a good marketing thing for you guys too. So that could be something to keep in mind. I don't know.
yeah. Maybe we do that together. Maybe that's a really cool idea. So I think people have so many cool ideas, and it's interesting to hear them. So that'd be really fun. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm sure viewers and I'm sure like people on the channel would be open to that. So that'd be, well, we can chat later on at a later date. But anyways, so thank you for joining us, Darius. It was a pleasure speaking with you. Pleasure to, getting to know you as well as the business as a whole. So thanks again for taking the time, and I'm sure we'll see you soon. That sounds great. Yeah, I appreciate you having me, and we'll definitely keep in touch. All right, take care. All right, guys, so that's it for the interview. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope that it was insightful and it gave you a better understanding of who's behind the company's business model and vision, as well as the massive growth opportunities Fans has, not only in North America, but globally as well. Now, if you did enjoy this video, then the only thing I ask in return is that you please make sure to hit that like button, please, and comment to give me your feedback on the interview. I love to hear from you guys. And also, if you want more content like this, I got plenty more coming your way, so subscribe and turn on that notification bell to be notified when any new video comes out. And of course, please feel free to join our Smart Money Squad Patreon and Discord. And until next time, take care and invest smart.